Hey guys, Alan Goldsher here, and I got some breaking news. I have a new album out! It dropped a couple weeks ago. It is called 96 BPM. 96 BPM is just about my favorite tempo. Beats per minute is what BPM stands for, and what that means is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Each of those ones and the twos and the threes, add them all up, there's 96 of them in 60 seconds. Thus, 96 beats per minute. Why 96 beats per minute? Well, that is the tempo that kind of reminds me of the early 90s, which is one of my favoriteest music eras in history. A Tribe Called Quest's album, Low End Theory, I believe that came out in 91. Most of the tunes on there are in the 96 area, 94 through 98 BPM, and that tempo just stuck with me. Now I've taken that tempo and done all kinds of different stuff with it. Taken some early 90s sounds and some 2000s sounds. This tune I'm going to play you, Heads, is kind of an 80s thing. It's called Heads because it reminded me of the Talking Heads expanded band that you could see on Stop Making Sense. That was not by design. That's just kind of how the song came out. I'm pretty proud of this one. It has my first ever recorded synthesizer solo, which is pretty hilarious because I am not a synthesizer player. Has 38 tracks, starts out with 7, 8, 9 tracks of percussion. So, and then it leads into some wah-wah guitar and some bass, and I'm just going to let the music take us away. This is Heads. And a little whoosh leading into the guitar. Now, I've got 3 separate bass tracks to get the bass to sound nice and fat, but I brought each track in after 8 bars to help build it up. Here's the first one. A lot of thumbing and plucking to get that 80s thing. Okay, here comes some clavinet and another bass track. I am not a clavinet player, I'm not a keyboard player, as mentioned, so it took me 3 separate tracks of contrapuntal melodies to get it sound kind of dope. All right, next up we got a little break, drums, and the final bass track. All right, most of the percussion dropped away. We've got 5 drum tracks. Really like the way this came out. And some James Brown, ow! All right, next up, 6 tracks of horns. It's the melody. And then here comes a little counter melody on some keyboards. Super 80s sounding. All right, ladies and gentlemen, put on your seatbelts. Synthesizer solo! Bring it! In terms of the sonics of this synthesizer, I was shooting for kind of a Herbie Hancock rocket sound. It would have been nice if I could shoot for a Herbie Hancock solo, but just proud that I was able to get a competent synth solo down on this one. Now the horns drop out. Pretty much just synth, bass, and drums. A little bit of sound effects going on. We got a little break coming up, leading back into a reprise of the melody. This is a simple sounding tune, but it took a lot to get it to sound this simple. Like the bass tracks, 3 bass tracks to get 1 bass line. 6 horn lines to get it to sound nice and fat. This one took a lot of work, but I'm really proud of it. Now the end of it here, rather than crescendo up, I decrescendo. No fade. Just kind of some percussion leading into horn stabs. There it is, Heads, from my album 96 BPM. If you dug it, please, please, please tell your friends, share it on social media, download it on iTunes or Amazon, stream it on Apple Music or Spotify. You can find it on pretty much every major digital music platform. And the only way, as I've said numerous times in these little videos of mine, that these sorts of projects succeed is via grassroots support. I'm hoping you can give me said grassroots support, because I'm really, like I said, I'm really proud of this album, and I think you'll dig it. If you're an electronica, jazz, funk, rock fan, give it a listen. Thanks for listening. Take care.